Hi, friends, and welcome to a holiday edition of Fabric Anatomy. I am going to introduce you to two different collections in this episode, and this is my very first ever holiday collection of fabric, so I definitely thought it was worth sharing some behind the scenes with you. Cozy Christmas is what I named this collection, and I was inspired by kind of my favorite memories as a child during Christmas time, and also some of my favorite memories and even current things that I do with my family when we're getting ready and really decorating for the holidays. So as I show you the prints, you'll be able to see that I'm really kind of focusing on what our house and home feels like during Christmas. So of course I had to do a poinsettia print because I'm such a floral designer. There was zero chance that I was not going to include at least one flower in this collection. I have all the prints laid out here in our colorways. We have vintage, cheery, and lush. I wanted to do traditional Christmas colors of red and green, of course. We have this really softer palette for the poinsettia here. And I would say this is a much more kind of traditional color of poinsettia here. And I did lots of fancy fine line work on this print that you can appreciate up close. And this is the Lush palette, which is a little bit more jewel toned. And poinsettias, when I was looking at pictures of them, they actually come in so many colors. It's amazing. But really, this is a floral print that could work right into so many different floral prints in all of your sewing. And that is one of the things that I really focused on with this collection. As much as it's a Christmas collection, I kind of wanted to be sure that a lot of the prints can sort of work at any time of the year. I did this pretty six-pointed star, very kind of Christmassy looking, but again, it's very quilty looking. So we have a very vintage colorway, the cheery and bright one, which just reminds me of candy and bubblegum. And then this more jewel toned one. Then I did this fun little landscape scene. I haven't done a landscape scene, I think, since maybe, yes, Enchanted, thank you, in my Fibs and Fables collection from a really long time ago. But this is like a little happy houses on the hills scene. You can see some snowflakes dropping. You can see little pea stubs flying around, and you can see smoke coming out of the chimneys. So this is a kind of more of a daytime one in the vintage colorway. This is more of like a late evening one. So those snowflakes really show up. So this definitely looks wintry, but there's nothing explicitly Christmas except maybe the star on top of that one tree. And this is more of a night version because the sky is black, but it really lets those snowflakes show up really beautifully. I live in that hot pink house right there, and I have a hot pink tree. Okay, so the prints are a little bit folky and bright and fun, and I've never done ribbons that are striped and large. I did do a ribbon print way back in Honor Roll, but I thought it would be really fun. I love wrapping gifts. I'm actually one of those weird people that really enjoys wrapping gifts. I will complain about it every year, but I secretly love it. Again, any time of the year, just a very fun, feminine, celebratory style print that you can put with lots of different other fabrics, fun to fussy cut around the bows. Now the snowflakes are very wintry, but I've kind of designed these to be reminiscent of the paper snowflakes that my family and I mean, my goodness, the paper that I have picked up off the floor in my parenting over the years from making paper snowflakes. When you get close to these prints, you can kind of see that they have a bit of shadowing on them, so they look like folded paper. When you fold them up and cut snowflakes, my snowflakes are never this pretty, but you can see the little strings tied on them to sort of be reminiscent of homemade decorations. And to give you a teeny tiny print, I brought that little dove back that is in the little village scene for just this sort of almost little snow globe of a dove hovering inside this little circle of snowflakes. There's a nice scale variety. Of course, we've got bright colors and some sort of deeper tones. So I hope it gives you a little bit of everything. And of course, a not typical Christmas collection. I didn't want to give you something that already exists. I also did another thing that I've never done before, and that's create a project panel. I created a stocking panel, and you can see the stocking right here behind me. So it has 3 different colors on it. I put the little village scene on the back. But this stocking panel has the front side of the stocking, and you'll see the dove again showing up there. And I made the design very large and simplistic because I felt like for those of you that like embellishment, it would be a really nice opportunity to embroider right on top of the design. You could put sequins on top of the design. You could do extra stitching. You could do quilting. My friend Cindy stitched these up, and it's a little bit hard to appreciate on camera, but she did some beautiful machine quilting around the line work and around the dove and the different sections of the stocking, and it looks really pretty and dimensional up close. And I'm pretty sure she used a thicker thread in the machine as well. I grew up with some hand knit stockings that were made by my aunt, and Santa, he was coming out of a chimney and he had a cashmere beard and he had sequins around on the snow that was around him. So the snow was glimmering. I thought it was the most beautiful stocking in the world. And I wanted to create a base that could become something maybe very special if you added your own embellishments to it. And I also thought that that stripe across the top was the perfect landing spot for a name that could be embroidered or bedazzled or whatever you would like. So that's one project idea that's very simple, and the instructions are actually printed right on the panel. So it could be a first sewing project with one of your young people in your family. Speaking of project ideas, we shared a lot of them in our lookbook that we sent out to retailers, but we will be posting those on our social media accounts. There are lots of sustainable wrapping ideas that we have, as simple as even just making fabric sashes and wrapping those on your packages, because that's a wonderful thing that you can reuse. We have these wine bags, we had tote bags, drawstring pouches. There are so many beautiful things that you can do with fabric to wrap gifts. And of course, there are things that you can do to decorate your home, which brings me to the backings. I have two different backings in this collection. The first one is another version of the bow fabric, but I played with the background to make it a little bit more interesting. There's a few colors of blue and green back there. So I thought that was really pretty. Beautiful backing for a quilt, pretty tablecloth at Christmas time. And I also have a very fun and secret wovens collection that we introduced alongside Cozy Christmas that comes out a month following this. But before I get into that, of course I did a quilt. We have a Cozy Christmas quilt. So I'm going to come right over here and show you that. So the Cozy Christmas quilt kind of plays off of that little village town. And I decided to create just this whole stack of houses. So basically, this quilt design is nothing more than rectangles and flying geese all stacked up together. But it creates such a charming effect with all of those beautiful Christmas fabrics. So now, the only challenge in this quilt is there's lots of different dimensions to follow in the pattern, so you have to pay careful attention. And if you are someone who's going to buy a kit from a shop, the fabrics that we give you are the whole piece from top to bottom. So you are going to have some extra. So you could plan perhaps to make 2 of these quilts or have some other projects. But you don't have to fussy cut if you have the fabric split in half in certain scenarios. You can try to fussy cut if you'd like to. We didn't everywhere, but it's a really fun pattern. And in fact, I think it's a pattern that would make a beautiful housewarming gift in any kind of fabric. So we're really excited about this one. We also have a special project for you that is a free downloadable pattern. This is a little table topper that I designed with a 6-pointed star. You use a little EPP diamond. It's a very simple pattern. It's a 16-inch circle. We did a little folded pine burr point all the way around. And if you follow the link in the caption, you'll find a downloadable pattern so that you can make a pretty table topper for your holiday table. Okay, now who is this beautiful headless woman? This is Silver Linings. This is my newest wovens collection, and it has just a bit of sparkle to it. So there are 3 different colorways to Silver Linings. One has a silver glimmer, another has rose gold, and then finally another has gold. So this is a dress that I just drafted from a favorite dress that I own. There's not a pattern, I'm sorry, but there's probably a pattern out in the world that looks very much like this. I absolutely love how it looks in garment. The weight is very beautiful for garment. You can see that I have the whole collection right here. It's not a very big collection. It's mostly striped stripes and plaids. There is one special little tree farm jacquard in there that looks like little Christmas trees, but I put it here on the wall right underneath the whole palette of Cozy Christmas so that you could see how beautiful it looks all together with the printed collection and how they intermingle and play together. Now, this is a very special piece. This is my very first woven 108-inch wide backing fabric. It is so beautiful. It has the rose gold glimmer in the plaid. You might remember my garden variety collection, which had that big window box plaid. This is based on that same format, but it also includes metallic in between all those squares. We have it here on the table as a tablecloth, and it's definitely going to be my tabletop this Christmas. It would make a gorgeous tree skirt. It would make a beautiful circular skirt for your Christmas party. I think it's great for so many things. So that's a backing in that colorway, but we also have two more colorways. This is an equally Christmassy mix, but it has a bit of deeper black, and of course it has the gold instead of the rose gold. It has more of a deep teal and evergreen instead of the brighter turquoises and jade greens. And then this one is a beautiful purple, blue, sapphire color. Those are the plaids. And then this is the stripe that I showed you on the mannequin. This is a beautiful creamy white that has a rose gold stripe with pink. I would say that this piece is probably the lightest weight, this stripe. All of them are woven a little bit differently, so they have slightly different weight. And this one is so fun. I love this. I named this Tree Farm. It's a jacquard, and you can see it has little tiny trees woven into it. I think this is so cool. It's a beautiful design, I think, for home goods, but I can see this being like a really cool, like fancy coat as well, or even like a vest, or I don't know. I kind of want to see this in a garment. I think it's so cool. This would make beautiful stockings as well if you're someone who wants something more simplistic and not too like colorful and wacky on your mantle, like the panel. We have this pale colorway too. Love those. Sparkly fun. And this is a fun, very traditional little plaid. I thought that these looked like little wrapped presents, and then these were like the little bows on top. So this is like a little dobby texture on top. So that is silver linings. So I have a few other projects for you with these fabrics and how they play with the printed fabrics together. I think it's so cute. You can hardly even call these projects because it's the simplest thing in the world. It's basically squares and rectangles and hems. So woven napkins, so fun. Just hem the edges of a square in whatever size you want. There are some tutorials out in the world that show you how to do a beautiful mitered corner for your rolled hem on napkins. That's a really nice way to finish them. So have a look for that. And placemats. So these have sparkly on one side, print on the other side. Adult table, kid table. I thought that was really cute. Again, my friend Cindy, who's so amazing at helping me and basically doing everything, made these. I just really love the two sides. So also table runners. Poinsettia is so beautiful. And of course, the plaid on the tabletop. Okay, so things for you to remember. Squares and rectangles, easy. In the caption, there's a link to the free project of the little circular table topper. I'm not even sure what we called it. Let's call it the six-pointed star. I think that's what we call it. Six-pointed star table topper. And also there is a link to my downloadable guide on the silver lining fabrics, which is a guide for washing and caring and sewing with them. Okay, so anytime I do woven goods that are a little bit different from how cottons, like quilting cottons, should be cared for, I want to provide some guidance so that you're not scared to work with them or iron them, afraid that the metal might melt or something like that. Okay, so there's a link to that as well. And as always, you can go to annamariatextiles.com. When these are shipping out in the world, you can go to the product finder, enter the product that you're interested in, and you can find all the shops that are stocking the patterns and the fabrics and all our other products. So thanks for spending time with me, and I guess Merry Christmas.